Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic day. Hope you've slept well, ready to get up to face the challenges of a new day. We're still in Deuteronomy chapter 30, and we're dealing on the subject of choices. And Moses gave the children of Israel a really good choice that they should make, and it was a choice between life or death, between blessing or curses. And he came with some other issues about that, because he said that there are certain advantages to choosing life over death and blessing over curses. And we've been looking at that for the last day or two. The first benefit of choosing life over death is that you leave a good heritage in your light of your kids. You leave a great legacy for your kids. When you make God-type choices, there will always be a great legacy to be left behind you. Goodness and mercy, as we said, is going to follow you all the days of your life. But then we said this the second time round, is that you may love the Lord your God. You may leave a legacy, and that you will also be free to love God. Now that's a good thought. When you choose blessing over curse, you make it a choice to say, God, you're going to be number one. God, I want to love you with my whole heart, with every ounce of energy and passion and intellect and strength that I have. I want to love you. And that's the lesson that we're talking about right now. But here we have a choice, another choice. You see, God will never force you to love him. He would never do that. He'd be going against his will. He'd be going against your will, which is not his will. And so he offers to you the choice to love him. He will never force you to do this. So we say, well, why would we want to love God? Well, the answer is really simple, people. Not only is he our creator, not only is he our king, but he's also our counselor, he's our strength, he's everything that we need for life to be what he wants it to be. We love God because he first loved us. You see, when God created you, he loved you. In fact, you know what? He loved you before he even created you. Psalm 139 says, I knew you before I even put you together. When I knit you in your mother's womb, you were not an accident. I took the genes and I put them all together, and I came up with you. You are perfect for what I want you to be. And God loved you before you were born. God loved you when you were born. God loved you when you were running away from him. God loved you when you messed up your life. God loved you when you didn't make right choices and life fell apart around you. God loved you when you got into bad habits. God loved you. God loves you. God loves you. And all our response is our love for God is because of his love for us. So why wouldn't we love God? Anybody got a good reason why we shouldn't love God after he's done all of those incredible things for us? Loving God is just a response to his love for us. There are so many additional responses that we see in people around the world when they're confronted with the love of God. Some people laugh at it and say, oh man, what kind is this? God doesn't really exist. He doesn't. If he did, he wouldn't love me. Some people will laugh with a cynical side to say, God doesn't know how bad I've been. God will never love me after the life that I have lived. Some will applaud his love. Some will study his love. But that is the blessing of God, as we read, is the choice to love God, because it's a choice that we get to be his children. Now, I don't know of a better choice than that. We were once far away from God, but now, because of his blood, we are his children, if we choose him. You can reject him, you can admire him, you can do like my plea with you, choose to love God. Now, you remember when Jesus spoke with Peter at the edge of the sea, and he said to Peter 3 times, he said, Peter, do you love me? And Peter, in his embarrassment, because he had denied Jesus 3 times, he promised that he would fight for Jesus. He promised he would die with Jesus. He made promises, and his intention was so good. But at the time of the challenge and the trial for him, he just couldn't muster up the strength to do what he had promised. And he felt like he was a total and absolute failure. But Jesus spoke directly to him and said, Peter, do you love me? He didn't say, Peter, why did you mess up? He just says, Peter, do you love me? And Peter looked at the ground and he said, yes, Lord, you know I love you. He said the second time, Peter, do you really love me more than all these of your disciples and friends? And Peter said, well, I know what you mean. I really love you. And then Jesus said a third time, Peter, do you really love me? And Peter said, Jesus, I love you so much, but I cannot love you like you love me. And Jesus probably would have smiled and said, that's okay. I will meet you at the point of where you love me. I will meet you at the point of your capacity to love me. And then as days goes on, as days move forward, as days turn into years, Peter, your love for me will grow. It doesn't have to be a perfect love right now, but I want to know you love me enough to say, I will love you more tomorrow than I did yesterday, but a whole bunch more in the future. And as we grow in this love relationship with Christ, what a blessing that is. That's choosing the blessing over the curse, and that's choosing to love God. We'll deal with the next one tomorrow. But you guys are going to have a good day, but let's go save the world.